Today we're sitting down with Kyle Cahill, owner of Grow & Co. and the new chairman of TNLA, to talk about career paths more people should know about in the green industry. From building a horticulture-first approach to growing a team-first culture through his various strategic growth experiences, Kyle has spent his career proving there's a huge opportunity in the landscape management and design section of the green industry. We'll dig into his journey, his philosophy on soil health and stewardship, and what it takes to build both a thriving business and be a part of a thriving industry. Hi, Kyle. Thank you for coming on today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I just want to let you know myself, my company, my colleagues, we're all huge fans of Microlife.
Thank you
So
so much.
I'm excited to be here and talk with you.
We're excited you're here too, as well. Can you share with everyone a bit about your background and what you do for a living?
Sure. So depends on how far back you want me to go. So I was born in 1985 here in Houston, um, but raised primarily in Beaumont area. And I was one of those kids a weird kid. I just loved to go outside. I loved to mow the grass. Like that was my chore that wasn't a chore for me. And I loved maybe the smell of fresh cut grass, or putting in a hard day's work and seeing how everything turned out. So I kind of was hooked on that aspect of it early on, not really knowing what it would develop into, and then started growing my own vegetables, had my own garden, and I was probably like 8. And I remember my mom taking me to Kmart. Do you know what Kmart is?
I
You're
do.
younger than I am. So, and buying like tomato plants and growing those. So I just was very interested in this industry, not even knowing it was an industry early on. And so when college came around, I discovered horticulture through Texas A&M University and went there, studied horticulture, got my degree, and just started working in the industry and really learning, how dynamic and how many things and how many opportunities there are within the industry, and just went from there.
Amazing. Yeah, it's funny. I went to business school in Virginia and I didn't hear the word agriculture once.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've moved people from hands-on fieldwork experience to senior leadership, which is a huge jump. What are some of the early signs of potential or qualities that you look for in people whenever you want to move them around to higher positions?
That's a great question. So I can tell that someone really has the capacity and really does want to grow in their career when they are very consistent, consistent with the time that they show up, consistent with the way that they communicate, the way that they organize themselves. If their schedules are very organized, and my team will tell you I'm very big on making sure that your schedule is planned
Oh, yeah.
and that you are organized in your day. Because if you're not organized, then something's going to happen and you're not going to be able to react to that. And so I look for that consistency, communication, organization. And if you're able to do those things, and I can see that early on, then I figure if you can manage yourself really well, when you move up into more of a leadership position, director level, you're managing other people and you want to bring out those traits or strengthen those traits in others. So if you can't do it for yourself, you're not going to be able to do that for others. Those are the things that I really look at and notice for folks who I feel like will be successful at the next level.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Organization is key.
One of my real tricks that I do when I interview is I do like to walk people to their cars
Okay.
and just kind of peek inside their car to see if it's clean or dirty. That will tell you a lot, actually. I have found, just don't follow me out to my car after this. It's a little dirty, but not too bad.
Well, as they say, if you have a clean space, you have a clean mind, right?
Yes, yes.
So you have introduced me to this concept called SALT. Can you share with everybody what does SALT stand for?
So first, I'll say I can't take full credit for salt because actually it was developed by somebody else.
Oh,
It was developed by a landscape company in South Carolina. The owner's name is Rob, and I heard about it, read about it. So it stands for Safety, Application, Life, and Team. And I thought that was just a wonderful thing for the entire company to really be trained on, not just because it's everything. It's life. It's not just the job that we're doing.
hmm.
And I looked at myself getting into the industry, even with a college education. I didn't really know how to navigate choosing health insurance or 401k options and what that really meant, or saving money.
Hmm.
I think it's just a standard that we should train in our company on, like, the type of work that we do and the right way to do it.
Hmm.
But outside of that, we want to help improve the lives of our team members and their families as well. And when I heard about that, I called that landscape company's owner and I asked him if it would be okay if we borrowed his idea
Yeah.
and implemented it within our company and kind of put our twist on it as well.
Hmm.
And he was great and he was open to it. So we implemented this over a year ago, and it's been wonderful to see my team really embrace the training, the team accept the training, and we're talking about all sorts of really exciting things outside of our day-to-day jobs. And the goal there is to really empower our teammates to continue to improve not only at work but in their personal lives and impact their families as well.
I love that. I think that's really lovely. And do you think that makes an impact for onboarding a new person too?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
And I don't, outside of the company where I had learned about this training, I never heard about it anywhere else. And
Hmm.
so, because it's not as common, I think when we talk about it, when we're bringing somebody on board, till they experience it and see what we're really trying to train them on
Hmm.
and teach them about life, it's something new. And so it's really after they're in the program for a while. I mean, we do it 52 weeks a year.
Wow.
And so there's a little topic every week that we'll bring up and talk about. And so I have seen the benefits of our team, especially as it relates to tenure, going from frontline into management. And that's one of the metrics we really look at because we want our team members to come and stay with us and grow. And that's the goal.
Absolutely. And you have this philosophy that great gardens aren't installed, they're managed. Can you share what that looks like in practice?
Sure. So we don't refer to ourselves as a landscape maintenance company. We're a garden management company.
Hmm.
And we feel like the big difference there is we are actively managing and gardening within somebody's private garden and their home. And instead of reacting, we do our best to stay proactive.
Hmm.
So we're looking at building the soils. We're looking at ways that we can control on unwanted pests, looking at ways in which we can dial in the irrigation so that the landscape has what it needs, but it's not excessive. And that takes a very hands-on approach. So we call ourselves gardeners because that's the level of professionalism, that's the level of education that it takes to really manage these living, breathing ecosystems. We're not just there to mow and blow, we are there to care for the garden, give it what it needs so that it can perform at its highest. So that's our philosophy. And that's how we look at our garden management. And I'm so proud of our garden management team because they love it. They buy into it and they're very hands on it. It just because you're a manager, my garden management team, from the garden managers to our production managers, everybody comes back at the end of the day with dirt under their fingernails. And that's what it needs to be like.
The
So,
good microbes.
yep, yep.
I love that approach a lot because it feels a lot more intimate. And like you said, like these living, breathing ecosystems, that is something I really want our listeners to really wrap their heads around. We relate a lot of things to the human body whenever we're talking about the landscape because you need to, if you want to maintain your health, you need to work on it a little bit every single day. And if
Mhm.
something starts to not feel right, or in your landscape, if something doesn't start to look right, there are ways to naturally take care of them and, really boost the immune system of your plants and really overcome adversity in
Mhm.
that degree. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I really like that. So, what does a horticulture first organic garden management mean in practice to you?
So, I will go back to the key word is proactive in
Okay.
all of this. And so when we are looking at managing a specific property or onboarding a new property who is
Mhm.
interested in our services, we're looking at that not just through the lens of, okay, what's the frequency in which the grass needs to be mowed? What's the frequency in which plants need to be trimmed? We look at all those things, of course, but we actually take it a step further and we're looking at the soil and we're looking at the irrigation. And without those foundational parts of the garden in good shape, nothing is going to thrive.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter if you go buy the most expensive, biggest plant material in the world, but if you put it in a place where the soil and the soil biology is barren, and the way in which it's irrigated or gets its water is infrequent or not enough
Mhm.
or too much, all of the management in the world is not going to fix that. So we really first look at the foundational elements of the garden. And so we're looking at the soil, we're looking at the soil health, we're looking at the irrigation. And if they do have an irrigation system, has it been built properly? Is it irrigating properly? Again, we deal with a lot of overwatering than we do underwatering.
Oh, yeah.
That's honestly one of the biggest issues. And so from the horticulture first, we're not just there to look at frequency in which tasks need to be done. We're looking at what does the garden need now? How are we going to look at executing those in year 1 and then building from year 1 to year 2 to year 3 to really create an environment and an ecosystem that starts to, what would the word be? Almost self-fulfilling, right? If you build the soil biology, it's going
Mhm.
to then continue to multiply and recreate and make the soil better for all the plant material. And so, after we've cared for gardens for a year or 2 years, that garden automatically, you can test the nutrition, you can look at the plant material health. It's going to be better overall.
Oh, yeah. And have you, like, onboarded people who have been used to the conventional chemical approach? And how is that transition from that style of managing gardens to the organic approach and really putting the soil health first?
So that's a really good question. And by and far, I would say opportunities that we have and even our current clients are very much open to that method.
Interesting.
As we continue to grow and more people are interested in what we're providing, and because they have seen the results,
Mhm.
what I will say is it takes time. It takes time to build and it takes time to reverse some of those methods, the conventional way of doing things.
Oh, yeah.
And it takes some understanding that when you are building the soil, you are choking out weeds, unwanted plants that you don't want there. If you're going to do that naturally, organically, it's going to take some time, but it's ultimately the best method to have long-term success. And that's what we also want to really communicate with our clients on the front end is trust the process and trust us. And we are going to be here every step of the way to communicate. And long term, this is going to be the right move.
Absolutely. And, overcoming adversity in our gardens and overcoming adversity in our lives, that's a subject I have really started to enjoy as I've gotten older because it helps you grow and turn into a better version of yourself. How has overcoming adversity in your super successful career helped build where you are today at Grow and Co?
Well, I would say I have failed quite a bit. And so overcoming adversity is something you just have to get used to
Yeah.
and take something from every challenge and get better from it. And I mean, I'll probably walk out of here today and mess something up and say, oh, I've got to do better this way. And I think accepting that is, perfection ain't going to happen.
Right.
And accepting that and building on that and allowing your team the same.
Mhm.
Because teams that are successful, they fail together, but then they correct it together, and then we move forward. And so, much like a garden, right? You just build resiliency into, who you are, what you're doing, change something up, get better, and move on, and don't stay down too long, because if you do, that is more of the loser mindset, and you don't have time for that. You got too many people counting on you,
Right.
and you've got to learn from it and move on.
And I also find, like, just learning patience is a really huge part of this as well, and I
Yes.
think patience is a really great thing. I wish more people had it these days.
Well, I think having kids has taught me to have patience as well.
Oh, for sure.
And so that has helped me a lot. And I would say, as I've grown in my own leadership, I'm glad you used that word, because the younger me maybe would not have been so patient
Mhm.
when others made mistakes or failed. But as I've grown older, and as my daughters remind me, got gray in my beard, have learned to have patience and to teach. And so I think that was a great word to use.
So we are huge fans of TNLA over here. We will be at the TNLA Expo
All
coming
right.
up in August, and we know that you are now the chairman of
Oh my
TNLA, and
gosh, yes.
that is amazing. So much congratulations. What are some of the things you're looking forward to and doing in taking over this new exciting role?
Thank you very much. I'm first and foremost, I'm very humbled to, continue to carry the torch that so many others before me
Mhm.
have and done so well. I'm very much looking forward to listening to the industry, meeting more people within the industry,
Mhm.
broadening my horizons from, landscape to growers, re-wholesalers, suppliers, getting to know more sectors of the industry over this next year,
Mhm.
and really continuing on the work that TNLA has been working on and doing. We really want to engage membership. We want to grow membership.
Yeah.
We want people to ask what the association can do for them,
Mhm.
and we want them to be a part of the association, because we're only as strong as our members,
Yeah.
and we're only as strong as the membership that, such as myself, that becomes involved and guides us where we need to be. Because I do feel like I'm very bullish on the green industry, specifically here in Texas. I do see a lot of momentum. I see a lot of excitement. I have started to see more and more younger people be excited about what is the green industry, what's in the green industry. Um, they're inquiring more about the opportunities. And so, with that, I would also say some of our big initiatives that will continue on are workforce development. That's always big, and how the association can provide certifications and trainings to strengthen the workforce.
Mhm.
And by workforce, I mean, from crew members to crew leaders to management, all across the board. And then water. Water is a big topic
Oh yeah.
here in Texas, and it will be as our population grows, and how our industry can continue to be responsible, use water appropriately,
Mhm.
and advocate for responsible use of that resource.
Incredible. Yeah, I think that's a huge topic we are seeing a lot of right now, especially from the news with like Corpus Christi and stuff too. So it's really big time to make a big change. And, like going back to TNLA, I really appreciate just the communal aspect of it too. That's
Yes.
really cool. I think a lot of people want to be a part of a community right now. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I really highly recommend everybody to check it out. It's a really great opportunity.
I will say that's a very good point. TNLA, Texas is a big state.
It is.
And TNLA has regions across the state. So wherever
Mm-hmm.
you are, I would encourage you to look at the region in which you are a part of. And there's monthly meetings for regions.
Yes.
Some regions are stronger than others. So if you find yourself in a region that may not be as strong, absolutely volunteer, be a part of it. As I mentioned, TNLA is absolutely looking to continue to grow and strengthen. So regions are a great way to do that.
Absolutely. And so a lot of skilled trades struggle to attract younger workers. What's a big misconception keeping talented people from considering a green industry career that you've noticed?
I would say it's probably money that can be made
Okay.
and perception. I don't think that folks truly understand the opportunity there is to make a good living within this industry.
I totally agree.
And much like every other industry, it doesn't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
No, you have to get in, you have to learn, you have to acquire skills and talents within the industry, but there's so much opportunity to grow and to earn a living and have a career and not just a job. And so I think that is one of the misconceptions. And then I think perception, we've battled this perception of the green industry or landscaping just being a job that you can do on the weekends, or you don't have to be highly skilled or talented or educated to do, which is absolutely not true.
Mm-hmm.
And even those who are out there doing that, that's hard work,
Oh, yeah.
you know? And I would say that's probably the number one, in my opinion, what I've seen as a misconception. Because, I mean, if you go talk to parents who are sending their child to college
Mm-hmm.
and say, hey, why don't they come and work in the green industry and they can start on a crew and learn some things, then move up to management?
Yeah.
They're probably going to say, maybe a doctor or a lawyer would be better. Um, but that's just not the case. I think that if you're passionate about it, if you're interested in it, there's so much opportunity to have a good career and a good life and make a difference, honestly. Because
And
we're on the forefront of a lot of the green initiatives being in the green industry.
oh, yeah. And another part of the green industry that I don't think people have wrapped their heads around yet is working with people who work with plants is so energizing. It's so exciting. You're constantly finding new things to figure out and problems to overcome or like successes to enjoy. And it's just such a great industry to be a part of in terms of just like the friendships that you can make. It's really
And
awesome.
not to mention, I think yes, the people are friendly,
Hmm.
they're passionate. I've got great relationships with competitors of
Yeah.
mine. We share information where we know that a rising tide lifts all boats. So we want
Yes.
everybody to be better, right? And so I completely agree. And yeah, that's the one thing I've noticed is this industry is a pretty friendly industry.
So, you and your wife Susanna were just recognized by the Houston Business Journal as one of Houston's family owned businesses of the year. That is so incredible. What would you want to share with somebody considering a career moving into landscaping or garden care or the green industry?
Thank you for that recognition. And I will say we absolutely would not be where we are today without Susanna and the way that she in those early days, I mean, she was the one working while I was building this business, and so she financed the whole thing to make
Wow.
sure that she stayed working. She by trade is a physician assistant in the emergency room.
Wow.
And so she would work almost the night shifts, and I'd work during the day. She would go in late, and we would just pass each other and pass the baby as we were passing each other. But we were very honored to be recognized for that. So that felt great, and very appreciative for that. And I would say what you have to consider is first and foremost, this industry is extremely dynamic.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is if you're interested in the green industry, starting a career, starting a company, it's really understanding what does the green industry mean? Yes, there's landscape design, there's landscape construction, there's garden management, there's also the supplier side,
Mm-hmm.
the microlives of the world. There are growers, re-wholesalers. There's just so many aspects of this industry that you really want to find your niche
Totally.
within it. And that's where I think I've heard a lot of people and young folks coming into the industry who say, "Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't realize. I didn't realize." And so it's eye opening. So I would start with, if you are interested, align yourself with a company or an organization that you would feel comfortable coming in and really learning, getting experience, and opening your eyes, getting involved with TNLA, sales pitch right there. Um, because that association helps to strengthen the industry and has a lot of information to tell you a lot. But again, as an advocate for the green industry, it is a very dynamic and diverse industry.
Totally.
Um, so there's a place for all people here.
And I think a niche is something that is so overlooked sometimes. When I was in business school in marketing, we talked about niches every single class.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you get out of college or maybe you go straight from high school, you start to realize that finding a niche can be kind of difficult, you
Mm-hmm.
know? How did you find your niche? Is it just your experience from like growing up and growing your tomatoes or?
Yeah, that through experience, getting in, working for other companies, and seeing what suited me the best.
Mhm.
When I was in high school, my mom lives in Montana, so I'd spend my summers in Montana. That's actually my first job in landscaping. I was on an irrigation crew in Montana, and we did high-end residential.
Mhm.
And so one summer I did irrigation, and then the next summer my sister actually worked with me, and we were on an enhancement crew.
Mhm.
And so I cut my teeth doing high-end residential work. And so naturally, when I went to college, I looked for a company that did high-end residential. So I got my first job at a high-end residential landscape firm.
Mhm.
And then we started to do more and more commercial work. As I started doing commercial work, I realized this isn't really for me.
Okay.
And because they're two totally different dynamics, in my opinion. So I gravitated more towards the niche of high end, high service, high touch, detail oriented, quality first style work.
Okay,
And so
cool.
that's how I found my niche and really dove into it.
Yeah.
But it took time, it just takes time. And that's why I always say go get experiences, work in the different aspects of it, find your niche. Because when you do, you will be successful
And really enjoy what you
and
do.
enjoy what you do. Yes.
So what would you like to see happen in your business and in the green industry over the next 5 years?
I would like to see with growing company, absolutely love us to continue to grow strategically
Mhm.
and to continue to be a leader within our market and an influence within our market on how we do things
Yeah.
and how we can impact other companies, not only ourselves, to really follow suit because I feel like, again, the lifting tide lifts all boats. And I think having our method of gardening and maintaining gardens is really what's best
Yeah.
going forward. And so I would love to see that continue to grow. And then for the industry, TNLA, I want to continue to see more involvement, more young folks getting involved with TNLA because that's going to be the next generation. They're going to be the ones to carry the torch. And so I want to see that happening. Texas is growing. There's going to be and there is a need for what we do. And so I want to see more and more, I would say, respect given to the green industry because we are a multi billion-dollar economic driver within the state. As I mentioned before, we do have a front seat to a lot of the green initiatives within the state,
Mhm.
and we can have a huge impact on the economy and continue to do so. And I believe I'm very bullish on the industry here, and I believe we will continue to do so.
I think so too. And, every new house needs a landscape.
Hmm.
So I think that's something we talk about a lot around here too. And just, Sometimes new construction can leave some debris, and you gotta work with your garden manager or your landscape manager to kind of
Right.
clean things up and
Right.
really create a place you love.
And I will say with that, I have noticed on the consumer side, there has been awakenings, maybe not the right word, but more of a conscious effort to understand what's being done
Hmm.
from a healthy perspective. How are you maintaining the landscape? What are you putting
Yeah.
down on my grass? And so as the consumers continue to drive that, that is one other thing I'm hopeful and wanting to continue to see is just consumers continue to be educated on products such as Microlife and how that's better
Oh,
than the
yeah.
alternative.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. We really enjoyed this conversation, and I love talking about the green industry. There's so much great things going on. Can you share where people can keep up with you guys online or how they can get
Sure.
in contact with you?
Sure. So our website is www.growandcotexas.com. So you can check out some of our work on there. And then we have an Instagram as well. So we like to post our garden walks. I believe it's every Friday. We just get a bunch of clips from walking through our gardens and post that so for everyone's enjoyment. So find us there.
Sweet.
Yeah.
See you later.